All right, top 3 priorities at each position. Jamey, who are the top 3 quarterbacks? We haven't touched on this position yet.
It's actually a really good position. It's kind of similar to the wide receivers. It's like you don't need to go spend a lot because there's a lot of guys you could find. I'm actually torn, to be honest with you, on who I'm going to make starter of the week this week between Marcus Mariota and Geno Smith. It's probably going to be Geno Smith because I don't know exactly when they'll say that Jaden Daniels is out unless he gets ruled out sooner. But both kind of in amazing situations. Mariota has just been so fantastic every time he's got a chance to play extended time for the Commanders. And you saw it again last week. And for Geno Smith, this was a great game for him, and he has a chance to follow it up with another great game against the Bears this week. So love the setup for those two guys. Carson Wentz, like you mentioned, in a good spot, taking on a Steelers defense that obviously has struggled. And we did not see the best of Carson Wentz, I think, because maybe we did, but didn't have to do very much. Only 20 pass attempts in that game last week because they were just so dominant defensively. So big opportunity for all 3 of these guys, and they're all available in, everywhere, and you can get a starting quarterback here. I think in the case, at least for me, for Mariota and Geno Smith, I would start both of them over Patrick Mahomes this week.
Mahomes against Baltimore. So really, that's interesting. You don't think that's like kind of a shootout? Maybe gets Worthy back?
If he gets Worthy back, I might change that. But for right now, these guys have been just as good, if not better.
Do you fear the Falcons matchup? They're currently 4th best against quarterbacks. They gave up a big game to Baker Mayfield. Then J.J. McCarthy and Bryce Young struggled.
Not for Mariota because of how he plays. And I think you got to throw out the Panthers game because Bryce Young didn't have to do very much.
It is true. He only threw 24 passes. Okay, so Mariota, Geno Smith, Carson Wentz, top 3 there. Dave, top 3 running backs other than Trey Benson, of course?
It's not pretty. You're going to see Woody Marks toward the top of that list, Tyjae Spears toward the top of that list, and then pick your own Commanders running back for 3rd between Jeremy McNichols, who had a nice touchdown run, and Chris Rodriguez, who had more carries, had more playing time. I think he led the Commanders running backs in playing time.
Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt played more snaps than Rodriguez, so it was JCM or Bill led them in snaps.
He did 40% to 36%. It was very close between the two.
Yeah, it's messy. Like, don't chase McNichols' run because he played the least of the 3. He had the best run. I'll ask you, Dave, the same question I asked Adam. He had the longest touchdown run for the Commanders since 2019. Who was the last player to have a long touchdown run of that? I don't know, the same
2019.
Same distance.
On the Commanders, you mean?
Obviously.
No, I don't remember.
I'll Venmo you $5,000.
Well, now I might want to sit and think about it.
Also, I need to take out a loan if you get this. What was it? Steven Sims?
Steven Sims.
I was going to guess Steven Sims. The running backs aren't great, but Woody Marks is absolutely one of those running backs that we were kind of talking about. They're a backup, so to speak. Marks is a part-time player for Houston. It's not a great situation, but all you have to do is wait out Nick Chubb falling out of favor in Houston, and Woody Marks will start playing more and getting more opportunities.
So we're there already. I don't know about necessarily falling out of favor, but Chubb played 33 snaps, Marks played 30, and it's a pretty telling sign about how the second half went, where he was playing more than Nick Chubb. And so I hope for a team that's 0-3 and still a chance to win that division and, make a playoff run. I doubt it, but it's still potential just based on what's happened for the last couple of years. And their defense is still fantastic. Like, make the switch already. Give Marks an opportunity. Make it a 60-40 split in Marks' favor. He should absolutely. These are the type of guys that we're saying, like, go get these guys now because you could see it happening. You could see the path for him having an opportunity. And I'm going to give you more guys because it's not just Woody Marks. Go get Ollie Gordon. Go get Blake Corum. Go get these guys that if they're an injury away from top 20 caliber potential. Like, they're just sitting there.
And I got to say that, with Ollie Gordon, you have, I don't know if he's going to be the exclusive goal line back, but he's obviously going to factor in there for the Dolphins. And Kareem Hunt is another guy who is the goal line back. Again, I'm not saying he'll get everyone, but Pacheco is such a weird player doing the weirdest things on the field right now that when do they just start trusting Kareem Hunt more? I'm not saying it's going to happen, but could he?
He started the game.
Yeah. Obviously it's very even split right now, but what was Pacheco doing? He ran into his offensive lineman, ran the wrong way, didn't recover a fumble. It was such a strange. He's just being weird. I don't know. I got to talk to him. Okay, let's get some wide receivers here. Jamey, top wide receivers.
Io Manor and Trey Tucker are the top two. Dave mentioned Shaheed. You could put him in that category too as well. I'm going to, again, look long-term. I think Luther Burden's got an opportunity here. Hopefully he's earning a little bit more trust. I don't want to go chase the production because it was 3 targets, 3 catches, and he had a 65-yard touchdown on a flea flicker. But for an offense that is starting to maybe get going, again, it was the Cowboys, but could happen easily this week against the Raiders as well. Like, he's somebody that you want to stash. Jalen Coker for me is somebody that I want to stash, just with the upside of what he can become. And now you're looking at Sanders out for several weeks. Leggett was missing time, and he's been at least getting targets, whether he's been doing anything with him or not. So we could see a different Jalen Coker. Maybe he's not the slot guy when he comes back because they want to keep Renfro there. And we see Coker kind of move around a little bit, but we know that Bryce Young likes him. Torrey Horton has scored 2 touchdowns in the first 3 games of the season. It's a tough sell because of how little they're throwing the ball. And clearly he's still on the field with 2 very good wide receivers in Jackson Smith and Najigba and Cooper Kupp, but Torrey Horton off to a great start. You mentioned Tyquan Thornton. I still want to take a look at the Packers receivers, and I'm going to put Wicks in front of Dobbs again until Jaden Reed comes back. It's the Cowboys this week. Last week was just a nightmare because the Browns, this is the week that these guys, Matthew Golden included, can all hopefully go off because of the Cowboys defense. So there's a lot of wide receivers again. Don't spend too much fab on these guys. These are guys that you want to put on your bench at this point if you're desperate in 3 receiver leagues. And let's face it, wide receiver has been beat up more than running back at this point. I like almost 26, 27 running backs this week. I'm done at 7 wide receivers that I actually like, just because I'm kidding. But you're down CD Lamb, you're down Mike Evans, you're down.
You've got a lower expectations for the Bengals wide receivers.
Say, yeah, I don't know where you rank Chase, Dave. He's in the teens for me. It's not pretty at this point for him. And T Higgins outside the top 24.
Yeah.
So it's good to have some of these players on your bench if you can. But again, if you're prioritizing what's your best bench bet, for me, it would be taking the chances on some of these running backs more so than the receivers.
Okay, by the way, according to ESPN research, the Dallas Cowboys, that's who the Packers are playing this week, they've allowed the most completions and passing touchdowns of 25 yards or more through 3 games in the past 45 years. They are horrible. Thank you, ESPN.com, for that stat. I'm hoping Matthew Golden can take advantage, but also Wicks and Dobbs. Yeah, that's if you need some, you're in a pinch.
What will Matt LaFleur do? Will he throw or will he run?
Yeah, I mean, that's the issue.
He's going to try and run. That run game hasn't been great.
If Lamb were playing in this game, you'd feel so much better about Jordan Love, right? Just throwing more and what it means for the wide receivers. But this could be a blowout.
I don't know. Could is the right word.
Right. Yeah. What does that mean for the pass attempts? Okay, Dave, top 3 tight ends.
I wonder what I'll go check with the over-under on sacks for Micah Parsons is, because it might be 20.
Hunter Henry's first at tight end, 7.3 targets per game this season, at least 10 PPR points in 2 of 3 games. And he seems to have that connection with Drake May going right now. So he's my favorite tight end to go and pick up. And then there's some other ones that I think you can get relatively cheap. I'm going to give you 4 names instead of 3. I'm still buying into Harold Fannin Jr. I still think he's going to end up having a consistent role and maybe more targets than what we've seen over the last couple of weeks. 9.8 PPR in each of his first 2 games. Just a bad game last week. It was against Green Bay. Brenton Strange for Jacksonville. He seems to have a connection going with Trevor Lawrence. We know that he's had some decent numbers, almost 10 PPR points in 2 of his 3 games. His bad game was against Houston. And Cade Otton is going to get a chance in Tampa if there's no Mike Evans, if Chris Godwin is eased in or doesn't even play in week 4. They're running out of people to throw to. You've got Emeka Egbuka. You've got Sterling Shepard. I know Cade Otton's done nothing this year, almost literally nothing. But I would imagine he's going to start to get some targets, especially short area targets against Philadelphia this week.
In that 4-game stretch that Cade Otton had, beginning with the Baltimore game when both Godwin and Evans got hurt, he had a 4-game stretch with 8 or more targets. He scored 18 or more PPR fantasy points in 3 of the 4 games, 3 touchdowns, 77 or more yards in 3 of the 4 games. It is weird that he is just completely uninvolved right now. But all right, let's read.
It might be because, and I have to watch it back to see, but he might be asked to block more instead of run more routes. I don't know if that's the case. I'm just hypothesizing.
All right, so recap. Jamey's top 3 quarterbacks this week are Mariota, but Jaden Daniels may play, so just keep that in mind. Geno Smith and Carson Wentz. Top 3 running backs from Dave were Woody Marks, Tajay Spears, and Chris Rodriguez, or he said pick your commander's running back. Wide receiver from Jamey, Alec Iomanor, Trey Tucker, and long-term play on Luther Burden. Tight ends from Dave, Hunter Henry, Harold Fannin Jr., Brenton Strange, and Kate Otten.
Okay, so on Otten, he has an 80% route rate, 88% route rate. So, yeah, he is running a lot of routes and just not getting the ball.
Now it's time.
That was week 3.
Now it's time for coverage you can count on, sponsored by Nationwide. Jamey, give me a DST to stream this week.
Who's facing the Giants again? Oh, the Chargers. Yeah, go get the Chargers this week. They are playing very well defensively, and now they get what should still be a layup of a matchup. I don't think the quarterback change will change how you should feel about the defense for the Chargers. If it's Jameis, it'll be some turnovers. If it's Jackson Dart, it'll be an inexperienced quarterback. If it's Russell, it'll just be terrible quarterback play across the board. So the Chargers are in a great spot. Go pick them up and start them this week.
Yeah, there's a few good DSTs. The Chargers are 64% rostered. The Commanders, Jamey has in his column. They get Atlanta this week, and all the turnovers there.
How about the Lions?
The Lions. Yeah, I wanted to bring up, and the reason why you might want to put the Lions first is the Chargers. They do have the Giants this week, but then they get Washington. The Lions have Cleveland this week, and then they're at Cincinnati. So maybe that's more of a 2-week thing for Detroit. And they're 42% rostered compared to 64% for the Chargers. Do you guys know who the number one DST? I mean, it's scoring so different, but just looking at our FFT league, which is kind of basic DST scoring, you know who the number one DST is so far?
I almost want to say the Vikings, just based on week 3.
Seattle?
It is Seattle. Yeah, I think the Vikings are up there too. Seattle's only 72% rostered. Do you consider them one of the true must-roster DSTs?
Yes. Especially this week against Kyler.
18 or more fantasy points in each of their past 2 games, and Kyler's been a mess. Now, Arizona has yet to allow more than 11 fantasy points to a DST, and that's in basic scoring leagues, but I still kind of like him on a short week.
And that was coverage you can count on, sponsored by Nationwide. Jamey, who are the kickers to pick up?
The kickers to pick up. I don't have it in front of me. Sorry.
Josh Hardy, I believe, was one of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got Josh Carty, 12% rostered against the Colts. You got Will Reichert, who's 47% rostered against the Steelers, and Jason Myers, who's 9% rostered against the Cardinals.
Okay. And hopefully your kicker doesn't strain his hamstring or whatever during warmups, because that only happens to one franchise.
Hey, he made his kick.